Stranahan House is very unique to Broward County. It's the oldest remaining structure in the county. The house itself was constructed in 1901 on this site. When you walk through the front door of this home, you're transported in time to a different era. This is so unique in the setting that we're in and in the environment here of downtown Fort Lauderdale, where all around us things are being regenerated. We have new construction on our four sides. The site had been used previous to that in the late 1800s, but it became the first trading post of this part of South Florida. And in the mid-1980s, the house was brought back to its former glory and restored to the museum that you see here today. We're on a prime location here on the New River in downtown Fort Lauderdale. And the New River itself is a tidal river. We have water exchanging with the ocean tides here. We have noticed over the last few years that in high tide situations, or what's referred to as king tide, we actually have had water starting to rise up and cover some of the rear patio surfaces. Because of that, we needed to take a look at our historic seawall. We knew that there may be some issues with the structural integrity of that wall. We went ahead and undertook some of those studies, and we did discover that we were going to need to replace that wall, which we did get some grant money, and we have achieved that project, and that has helped somewhat mitigate some of this high tide situation. However, we know sea levels will continue to rise, and that water is not just coming over the seawall, but it's coming up through the groundwater as well. And so we continue to have groundwater swelling up in our lowest elevations on the riverfront side of the house. We understand that in the future, and that may be decades away, it may be 100 years away, we don't know, we may be faced with dealing with literally lifting the entire structure of the house to a higher elevation. There's strong support for this museum within the community, and I think within the entire South Florida community. We have so precious little history to refer to here in South Florida. If we lose a facility like this, I think it's a devastating loss for future generations.
Norton Sculpture Gardens is a beautiful 2-acre urban sanctuary right here in West Palm Beach on the Intracoastal Waterway. Norton was an incredible artist who lived here and worked here. This studio actually was built in 1948, and the landmarked home where she lived was actually built in 1925. Being on the water and having that feeling of being able to look out and see these magnificent tropical plants and incredible art, and the water is just the trifecta. It's the best. We understand that the rising water is now accelerated. So we know that we must think about this and do everything that we can to prepare for the rising water, because we know it's happening. I know that in Florida there's very porous rock along the seawall, and raising it may not be the solution. It's like a sponge. It still allows for the water to come up. So it doesn't really do that much in terms of protecting us. As an organization, we're right in the middle of a strategic plan with the help of a historic architect who can understand that even though we would like not to have to do these things, we know in order to make sure that this is something that people enjoy for years, that we'll need to look at the windows, we'll need to look at the doors, and we'll need to make some really great decisions about how we fortify this for the future. When you can actually visit a place where someone lived and worked, you do have that sense that it does matter. And it matters not only for the present, but for the future as well.
Vizcaya was built in the 1910s by James Deering, an American businessman, to function as his winter home. Since the 1950s, Vizcaya has been open to the public as a museum owned by Miami-Dade County, and since 2017 we've been operated by a not-for-profit organization. In many respects, I would say that James Deering may not have thought about the long-term environmental implications of building a house on the bay, but in a number of other ways, he absolutely was very much a conservationist and very interested in the relationship between the natural environment and the designed environment. When one approaches Vizcaya today, you pass through this gorgeous, lush forest, natural rockland hammock, and a mangrove forest that then and today really provides some important protection against rising seas. Several years ago, we decided to take some steps to build a seawall to protect some of our northern gardens. When James Deering first built Vizcaya, he actually constructed what appears to have been a seawall circa 1916, and it's only several inches tall. We realized it was critical to build another seawall for this location, and with marine engineers, we did so to 100-year flood projections. Unfortunately, only about 3 years after that wall was completed, Hurricane Irma did strike. It did breach the seawall, and it's a really important lesson about the value of building beyond what appear to be rigorous codes and projections in light of how the climate is so evidently changing. There are a great many projects that we have tackled at Vizcaya to make the property more resilient. With each capital project, we look at installing different types of hurricane protection on windows and doors. Vizcaya's waterfront elements are probably the most visible symbols of the potential impacts of climate change and sea level rise. One of the projects that we've been really excited about because it bridges different aspects of our environmental sustainability vision has been this initiative to develop 3D models of various of our vulnerable elements on the property. These three-dimensional renderings, which are done with techniques such as laser scanning and photogrammetry, have enabled us to create models both digitally and also tactily that have given us an opportunity to give our visitors access to these very difficult to reach parts of Vizcaya. The great thing about the 3D modeling program as well is that we have been able to really understand from these the effects of long-term erosion on vulnerable areas. We think we will have a better understanding of what to look forward to in decades to come. And with these 3D renderings, we also have been able to provide very detailed instructions for the conservation of these elements. People seem to be very supportive of our work. It is reality-based, while it is also non-defeatist. We are doing everything that we can to protect Vizcaya with the information that we have available to us, but we also are open to discussing dire consequences that face us all. And there are certainly difficulties and challenges when one goes down that road, but thus far it's been the right path and frankly the only acceptable path for us. And those who have engaged with us in these conversations thankfully seem to get it.